As we march headlong into the future of the American political cycle to take on the 2024 presidential race, what is it that we see? Well, it's the total and complete ineptitude of the political class being highlighted even for that of the normies. Because what we see is these people within politics, the upper echelon of the DC elite, many of the times these people are quite literally, without exaggeration, some of the least impressive people imaginable. And you need no better example of this than that of the Democratic frontrunner for the 2024 election in Kamala Harris. And who was it that they had representing them before that? Joe Biden. And even before Joe Biden had been capsized by Alzheimer's and dementia like the Titanic taking him asunder under the sea, well, he still wasn't that impressive. He always thought he was far smarter than he actually was, and all you have to do is go look at Joe Biden's old clips to see exactly that. Many of the times not knowing what he's talking about, and it appears that Kamala Harris is taken from exactly that. So now let's go ahead, throw it into this clip of Kamala Harris, the first time she's been seen in public speaking to news reporters in an interview, and oh my goodness, this woman truly could not be more daft.
This is just an extraordinary testament to the importance of having a president who understands the power of diplomacy and understands the strength that rests in understanding the significance of diplomacy and strengthening alliances. This is an incredible day.
And there you have it once again, Kamala Harris spinning in circles, failing to actually say anything, because once again it appears that all she said is the same thing over and over again, just restructuring the words that are coming out of her mouth, expecting no one to realize what she's done. And what's so interesting about that is I wonder if Kamala Harris even knows what she's doing in those moments. And there's three reasons why I wonder that. One, is it that she's so stupid that she has no idea how to actually grapple with the landscape that she's been thrust within? Two, is it that she is effectively plastered all of the time, and that's why she gives these meandering, ridiculous, circular answers, because she doesn't have anything to go off of because she's wasted? Or three, pressure is breaking her to the degree that she has no capacity to operate as an orator as she did previously when running in the state of California. And if that's the case, if the pressure of the world stage is what's breaking her, then oh my goodness, you can only imagine what would come from a presidential debate between that of Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. It would truly be quite hilarious, but not as hilarious as Michael Malice talking about Kamala Harris on Joe Rogan.
Right.
If you're going after Officer Harris, you're either racist or sexist or ableist.
Right.
So they will use...
Ableist.
Yeah, because she's a retard.
Jesus.
She's literally retarded. I mean, Ukraine is a country in Europe, and Russia is another country, and a powerful country, and Russia invaded Ukraine, and that's wrong.
What's really important is what can be unburdened by what has been.
I think of her as America's wine mom. Because bitch seems like she's 3 deep by noon, and she's got the 3 phases of wine mom. She's got happy drunk. Oh my God, this cereal's got a rabbit on it. It's so great. Cackling, cackling, cackling. Then there is drunk at work, where you're trying to make sense, but you don't. Space is around us all and unites us all and inspires us all. And then there's I'm being stern so you don't realize how plastered I am, and I'm making a point. That little girl was me. Now I'm going to go upstairs and don't knock on the door because I'm going to pass out. So those are her 3 ways she talks, and those are the wine mom phases.
Do you think they have her medicated? Because there was a guy that was speculating that some of the things that she says, the way she's sort of disconnected sometimes, and
I don't
she
know
goes
what-
on these rambles, that it's
I don't
indicative of certain anti-anxiety medication. I do not know if this is true. See if you can find that, because really
That
shouldn't
would
say
make
that
s-
about
that would
our
make s-
future president.
Yeah, yeah.
She's going to win.
No, she's not.
She can win.
She absolutely can win. I do not think she's going to win because the more she talks, like in 2020, how bad do you have to be that you can't even make Iowa? She couldn't even compete with the mayor of South Bend.
And why is it that Kamala Harris didn't make Iowa? Are you aware? Well, it's because she's fundamentally unlikable and a complete and total charisma vacuum. But not only that, the biggest factor, the most controversial and detrimental blow to her campaign, well, it was when she was debating Tulsi Gabbard. And Tulsi Gabbard openly came forward, and I'm stealing a line from Michael Malice here, and skewered that pig and smoked it like only a Hawaiian could. Marvelous wordplay from Mr. Malice. And the thing is, when he sits there and he talks about how Kamala Harris is just always drunk, I honestly believe that we should be leaning more into the realm of stupidity. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure she's plastered all the time, much like many people within that of the DC class are, whether it be that of just booger sugar throughout the wazoo, or being drowning within that of the drink. Who knows? But of course, none of it should surprise you. But what we do know is that clips of Kamala Harris talking about how things work every single time seems to prove her to be, well, less than intelligent, let's say.
So you're now no longer are you necessarily keeping those private files in some file cabinet that's locked in the basement of the house. It's on your laptop, and it's then therefore up here in this cloud that exists above us, right? It's no longer in a physical place.
And that, my friends, is exactly why I'm leaning towards more of the stupidity route, because, oh my goodness gracious, she doesn't even understand how the cloud works. And look, I'm not going to fault people for not understanding this, just like I'm not going to fault old people for not understanding technology. But you know what I will hold her feet to the fire on? The fact that she lied. Just so openly and brazenly talking about this like she has any clue of what she's talking about, which is exactly what politicians do about everything. They speak with this veil of authority as if they have any idea of what they're talking about, when just about every single time they're nonsensical bullshitters to these highest order conceivable. It is ridiculous. But the thing is, what this does when people see something such as this, they sit there and they wonder, is the establishment just playing a game on me? Putting this Alzheimer's riddled old man upon the stage that looks like he's trying to geriatrically goose-step himself across it while he fights rickets. And then we also have this woman who cannot even convey a sentence without repeating what she has to say without restructuring it. It's genuinely staggering, and it makes you wonder, are they just fucking with us? Is it just a room full of billionaires and trillionaires sitting there? It's like, I bet I could make them sit there and wear masks after shutting down the entire world from a global pandemic. It's like, I bet I could make them take an experimental gene therapy. I bet I could make them take multiple repeat doses of that gene therapy so we could go ahead and get them to acquiesce. Like, I bet I could get them to stay inside and remove them from working while we destroy the world economy. It's like, are these people just playing fucking games with us? Is that what's going on here? Because you see this and you just wonder, oh my God, what is happening? It's fucking mind-blowing. Sorry for all the cursing. I curse like a sailor. I don't know what to tell you. I was raised around a military family. Just is what it is. Anyways, the thing that I want to go ahead and touch on here is that clips such as this, it highlights something that people are well aware of now. That Kamala Harris will do whatever is necessary to just get by. And that is what many people who are going along with these YouGov polls are now seeing, because apparently it's roughly 92% of people believe Kamala Harris had some form of involvement in hiding Joe Biden's cognitive failings. And of course, that is so obvious. The fact is that if anyone believes she didn't have any responsibility in this, then I'd argue you don't even know what the definition of responsibility is, and you need to go find a dictionary. She, the vice president, the person who is going to be the president of the United States if Joe Biden were to fall by the wayside because an illness were to take him, or let's say a strong gust of wind, because it appears that's all we need at this point. And once again, we see that Kamala Harris, just like every single other person under the sun within the political class, is nothing more than a liar. And people are starting to come to grips with that. And this YouGov poll, the big thing to pay attention to is this isn't something that's done on a right-wing website, a right-wing news outlet, or just some right-wing rag in general. This is YouGov. And that's why it's so crucial to pay attention to, because across the entirety of the political spectrum and every avenue of thought, people are realizing that this woman very much understood what was happening behind the scenes with Joe Biden and did not speak out. And if she will gladly bite her tongue about something such as this, who knows what other things behind the scenes that she will gladly bite her tongue about. Now let's go ahead and throw it into this clip from Newsmax, and then we'll move on.
So in a new poll conducted by YouGov, 9 in 10 voters believe that Kamala Harris played a role in covering up Joe Biden's deteriorating health. 68% believe she had, quote, a great deal to do with the cover-up. 17% say somewhat. Only 7% say a little. And a tiny fraction, 4%, say she had nothing to do with it. That means a total of 92% of voters think Kamala Harris is to blame for the lie.
Think about that number real quick. 92% of people think that Kamala Harris had some form of culpability in hiding Joe Biden's cognitive failings. And I say 92%. It's 92% of the people that took that YouGov poll. But nonetheless, I digress. What we can realize is that 8%, those people that are like, no, she would never. She had no idea. Joe Biden was just on point behind the scenes. These are individuals who are quite literally so captured by the political binary and the news media cycle itself that they have no capacity to actually branch out and deliver you rational thought to structure their own ideals, because every single ideal that they have that has established their worldview was handed to them top down by the media class. And because these individuals are so deeply steeped within the vote blue no matter who mindset, there is no ability for them to step outside of it and see the culpability of someone like Kamala Harris denying Joe Biden's cognitive failings. Because in the end, as we know, their side could never do any wrong. And as we know, there are people on all sides of the political spectrum that operate within this exact mindset, removed from any desire to hear any critique of their own analysis, because what it does is shatter the fragile Fabergé egg of the reality that they've cultivated for themselves. And upon doing so, what you do is expose them to the nature of reality itself and realpolitik, rather than this felonious game that you love to play, acting as if you can be more holier than thou while never grappling with the standards of what your opposition wants to present you. I'm going to go ahead and call it there. There's so much more I have to talk about, but it realistically wouldn't fit the structure of this video, so we'll just make another one talking about Kamala Harris's most recent rally in the coming days. And sadly, we are still here talking about presidential politics on this channel, but it is what it is due to the nature of reality that we exist within and the time of year that it is. Alrighty, I'm going to go ahead and call it there. Make sure you go ahead, do your own research, check around, don't fall for the political bias of whatever side that you exist within. Always realize that there are liars within your ranks, and that means that you need to be ever vigilant to suss them out. Thank you for watching. Stay lovely, stay great. Thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't. Tell me where I'm wrong in the comment section down below. Tell someone you love them. Peace out.